Hey, what's going on, guys? Bflattened here with a brand new video today. Today we're going to be talking about a hidden mechanic of the Shlooter that was not previously known, at least to my knowledge. I don't know if this has been discovered before, but if it has, no one said anything about it. So, the Shlooter is going to be an artifact that increases your legendary drop chance by a huge amount over the time period of 12 seconds. Now, previously, if you saw my video on everything you need to know about the Shlooter, I mentioned that this does not work with DLC drops. If you do use it in a DLC, it will drop vanilla drops only, or so we thought. This is going to be on a very specific interaction and boss, and it's not going to work with every single boss. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a kill on Seer with both the Schluter on and with the Schluter off, and then you guys can see the differences for yourself. And then afterwards, after these two runs are done, I will bring up some really boring math and science just to confirm all the findings that were discovered with this interaction. So I'm going to go ahead and kill the Seer without the Schluter equipped. Just a normal kill. I'll go ahead and rack Seer here. Now, on average, I was discovering and finding that the Seer, over multiple courses of drops, will drop anywhere between 1 to 3 items per run. Now, there's going to be at least one DLC item that will drop throughout this. In this case, it was the Rocket Pod. Now, this is very consistent, and this was consistent over multiple runs in a long period of farming and time. I'll show you the drafts as soon as we complete the run with the Schluter equipped. Now, you got to make sure that when you do this interaction with the Schluter, you have to make sure that the Schluter is procced before killing Seer. You cannot proc the Schluter off of Seer like you can with other bosses. So you got to kill an ad with the to proc the Schluter and then kill Seer right after. The easy way to proc and get enemies to spawn is by stepping into the water that's in the middle of the map. These will always spawn a Revenant so that you can kill that off very, very quickly. So let's go ahead and do that now. We'll avoid Seer. We'll throw in Cub just for some distraction. Let's go ahead and enter the water. It'll always spawn a Revenant. Revenant is here. We kill off the Revenant. Shlooter is proc. Now we can kill Seer safely. You only have 12 seconds to do this, so make sure you get the timing properly. And I don't think I'm going to get it on this one. So let's go ahead and proc the Shlooter again. Shlooter is procced. You can see it by the side of your screen with all the green markers there. And as you can tell, our loot increases a tenfold. Anywhere between at least minimum 3 and a maximum of 15 I've discovered so far. Some people have reported that they have seen more drops. Now, I've been getting at least one DLC item per. It's totally normal for vanilla drops to drop, and those will increase a lot. That's what the Schluter normally does. However, here's a free radical over here, for example. Conference call. Yeah, Company Man drops. That's the other thing. I want to talk about the Company Man with you guys. Now, the Company Man is a guaranteed item to drop off of Hemovorus. I have spent hundreds of hours killing Seer, trying to get God Roll class mods, and everything in between. I have only seen about 5 Company Mans to drop off of Seer in probably 500 plus hours of farming him. However, when doing it with the Schluter, I have seen multiple Company Mans in very short amount of runs. Unless they increased the drop rate of the Company Man recently, which was never mentioned prior to or previously, this has been interacting with it. Look at that. There's a Mesmer, there's a Company Man, there's a free Radical. I didn't get a Rocket Pod this time. There was a Heat Exchanger back here for a class mod. That is 4 DLC drops. That is already 4 times more than what we saw from the previous run. Now, this is consistent because I did and recorded multiple runs over the course of a couple of days. I wasn't fully convinced, so I reached out to the community. This is what we found. Let me go ahead and load up what we have, and I will show you exactly what we got. So these are just my runs. What we have here is Without the Shlooter, I was always getting a maximum of 3 drops. This is without the Shlooter. So I was getting a maximum of 3 drops, and I was getting a maximum of 3 DLC drops per. With the Shlooter on and multiple runs, I've been getting 3 DLC, 2 DLC, 4 DLC, 4 DLC. It was always increasing. Now, I was getting up to 8 drops. I was getting 6 drops. It was giving me non-DLC and DLC items out the wazoo. Now, I was not completely convinced because this was me recording in a very small sample source, so I reached out to the community a little bit further. So we ended up getting different points of views to see what other people found themselves. So the person who reached out to me, Zachariah, decided to do a lot of recordings himself, and this is what he found. In his graph here, he was doing was just when he was doing this offline, because you get the chances to increase from 1,000 to 100,000. He was getting 6 DLC, 6 DLC, 8 DLC. That was a 15 item drop. He also recorded Sears dedicated and all DLC 6 drops in general. So things that I was getting, like the Company Man, the Free Radical that you guys just saw. So Sear ended up dedicating his own 33. DLC in general was 82 with 196 drops. So this is going to be more than double of what Sear drops as dedicated. This is things like Revolter, Free Radicals, Company Men, everything like that. Rocket Pods, everything that drops in DLC 6. He had more than double DLC drops than Sear's actual dedicated loot pool, with 196 total, which is including vanilla. So I was still not convinced. So I reached out to another person to do his own drops, and we got even further information. This is from Robot, and Robot ended up getting his own. This is his no Shlooter runs. He was getting a maximum of 3 over the course of multiple runs. His minimum was 1. He was getting 3 drops total, just like everybody else. With the Shlooter on, he was getting 4 DLC drops. Maximum was 6. He saw 15. He saw 15. He saw 11, 10, things like that. DLC drops, he saw 4, 5, 4, 7, 6, 5. There were a couple low runs in here, as he mentioned, because he was using the complex route because for the lack of damage. So sometimes the Shlooter was not always procced. So this was his own verification of runs, and he saw a huge increase too. Now, another person we decided to reach out to as well was Swinlaw. Swin's stream will also be in the description of where he streamed and farmed all of this over the course of multiple hours. Now, he also got the same results off of Sear. However, we also did runs off of every single DLC 6 boss that appears. So the mini bosses like Sumo and the Gravekeeper and things like that, it does not work off of those enemies. However, it works off of Sear and also Hemovorus. We also confirmed Hemovorus for this to work on as well. He was getting items like Free Radicals. He was getting the dedicated drops off of Hemovorus as well. Things like the Disruptor, the Company Man, things like that. But when I was watching and reviewing, I also saw Revolters, Free Radicals, Mesmers, things like that. Just like you see here. Things like dedicated and non-dedicated. Like this drops off the Gravekeeper. We had a Free Radical that drops off Bflattened, for example. So this is over the course of 4 people with multiple runs in between all of us. Sear and Hemovorus are confirmed. We're also going to be looking over multiple bosses as well. It seems to also work on Ruiner. I have not confirmed this myself personally, but this was also seemingly working off of Ruiner as well. So feel free to do your own runs, record them, tell me what you find, see if you see an increase as well. If this works the way that I think it works, and with all the confirmations that I've seen, this is going to shake the core of DLC 6 farming for sure. Because if we're seeing multiple runs like this, we're going to be lowering all the DLC 6 farms very, very quickly. The way I think that it works is that since that this is on Promethea and also on Pandora, I think that it tricks the Shlooter into thinking that this is a vanilla game and it's dropping all the items from the DLC. It's not consistent with any of the other bosses, but it's consistent with Seer and Hemophorus at the very least. So let me know what you guys find. I'm very, very curious. I hope this video helps all your farming. And all the Google Docs and the stream will also be in the description. Wanted to thank everybody who helped me out doing this, who I reached out to confirm their own findings. Swinlaw has a channel. Feel free to check out the YouTube and the Twitch channel that he has there. Zachariah and Robot do not have a channel, but they also were part of the help for the community for this. So I hope this helps. My name is Bflattened, and I'm signing on out of here. Take care all. Laters.